when he first walked in his first draft class. Boom, Penei Sewell, Aleem McNeil, Amon-Ra St. Brown.
Oh God, did I forget? Let me make a phone call. Did the Lions trade up in the first round and get a wide receiver at number 12? Yeah, they did. And by the way, in 2023, he has 2 more first-round picks. The guy's going to stack a 3rd draft class, and you're going to walk away and say, God, how'd he do it again? You are talking a decade of dominance for this football team. What has Brad Holmes accomplished so far, Jeff, is the question with the Detroit Lions.
I'm not going to sit here and say he's done a ton. He's probably the best general manager we've had in Detroit. The big question, he's checked off the draft question. I think he's found enough value, and you can argue that. This year, you got to wait on guys like Kirby Joseph, although I like Kirby. You found Malcolm, you found Aiden, and we have to see on Jameson. Chase Lucas, you could say this guy can draft. Last year, dating back to when he first walked in his first draft class, boom, Penei Sewell, Aleem McNeil, Amon-Ra St. Brown. And you found some guys that are going to end up playing in Iffy. Derek Barnes has been kind of a disappointment to me. And Levi's got to get healthy. But overall, he can spot talent in the draft. My question is, and he's done it so far on a limited scale, but free agency. And seeing how he works in free agency. He signed DJ Chark to a 1-year, $10 million prove-it deal, which I liked a lot. It means that he understands. He's very aware, self-aware of where the Lions are. So I think he's going to be fine doing it. But I have to see more moves out of Brad for him to make, it's franchise changing. I think drafting Aiden Hutchinson and not messing that pickup is franchise changing. But you got to see more. The Lions are going to have tons of cap space this upcoming summer. I would love to see what he does with it. But overall, Adam, I think he's done a fantastic job. But in terms of what has he accomplished, you only accomplish, you look at guys like Les Snead, you look at the wins and losses, and so far it's not on paper, but it doesn't mean he hasn't done great things. I think he's done a really good job for what he's been given. He's turned this team completely around the last 2 years. He's pretty much he's got rid of a lot of the old Patricia guys, brought in his guys, but you got to wait and see. I think you got to give him a little more time to see what he can do, whether it's trading for a player in free agency, but overall to acquire more talent. But I don't really have a question about his ability to acquire talent. I just got to see it on a more bigger scale. So I think this upcoming offseason, you're going to see more of Brad Holmes being aggressive. But until then, I think it's hard to judge him over just 2 drafts because the Lions aren't really in a position to go out and do a ton.
I don't think it's difficult to judge him after 2 drafts.
He's done a damn good job. To say he's one of the best general managers in the league or something like that. You just can't say that yet. Are you about to say that?
Look, let's just go back to year 1, okay? Drafts Penei Sewell, number 7 overall.
Which fantastic pick.
Follows up with 2 interior linemen, Levi Onwuzurike and Aleem McNeil, one in the 2nd, one in the 3rd round. Iffy has been a corner that looks promising but has never been able to see the field much. Amon-Ra St. Brown is arguably a top 10 wide receiver in the NFL right now.
Yeah, steal the draft.
Absolutely the steal of that draft. And you look at the wide receivers taken in that draft, if you were to redraft, he's easily the 2nd or 3rd, probably 3rd. I still think a lot of people would take Jalen Waddle. That's fine, we'll take St. Brown. But the reality is Chase, Waddle, and then it's St. Brown, no doubts. Not Devontae Smith, not anybody else in that class, in my opinion. Hell of a pick. 4th round pick, who already has over almost 1,100 yards in his short career.
Right.
And from that draft class, everybody except Iffy and Jamar Jefferson saw more than 16 games on the field so far. Then you go to this year's class, right? Aiden Hutchinson has so far played 2 games. Kirby Joseph has been involved in both games. Malcolm Rodriguez now is starting linebacker for your football team. Chase Lucas has been in moments. Those are 4 players that are giving you production on the field.
Right.
And I didn't even mention your 2nd round pick in Josh Pascal. And wait, oh God, did I forget? Let me make a phone call. Hey, did the Lions trade up in the 1st round and get a wide receiver at number 12? Yeah, they did. Yeah, they did. And there was still a wide receiver there.
Yep.
Who you would have the expectations of him being better than Amon-Ra St. Brown, given how explosive he was in college, coming out of Bama, being selected number 12 overall in the NFL draft.
Right.
You still have 2 players who have not seen the field that have very high upside. Josh Pascal led the SEC in defensive pass rush.
Tackles for loss, he was a monster.
Quarterback pressures, tackles for loss. The guy was an absolute unit at Kentucky. Jameson Williams, do I really need to go over the player he is? That's just in 2 drafts, Jeff.
No, I get it.
That's just 2 drafts. And when we talk about just any organization, and if you want to use the Rams as an example, be my guest. Any organization, you show me a 2-year window with that kind of talent, and I'll show you a successful franchise, a successful football team. The Rams have done it.
Mm-hmm.
The Patriots at times have done it.
Yeah.
The Steelers, the Ravens, the Chiefs. You just go around the league. Go look at all the good teams.
The Bills are starting to do it.
The Bills have been doing it.
Yeah.
You are stacking draft classes. And I'm not talking just about the star players, but players that will play a role on your football team. Kirby Joseph, I think, plays a role on this team. Chase Lucas, given the secondary's health, he may force his way into that rotation.
Mm-hmm.
Derek Barnes is rotating. Ali McNeil, we think highly of. Penei Sewell, starting, we think he's all pro talent.
Absolutely.
Jameson Williams, I like to think he's going to have impact on this football team. Aiden Hutchinson, already 3 career sacks in 2 games.
Do you think being because listen, I'm no question, we agree mutually. He's the best general manager we've seen in Detroit for the Lions. Do you think that's such a low bar that it's hard to evaluate guys? Like it's our first time seeing a respectable, a proactive, a guy who's innovative in Brad Holmes, a guy who can spot talent in the draft. But since the bar's so low, like, do you think that has anything to do with it as well? Like, we've never seen a guy like Brad Holmes.
I don't believe so.
Because he's exceptional. It doesn't take it away from what Brad's doing. But to put him on this big pedestal.
Give me one of the teams right now in the NFL you admire their talent
Chargers.
on both the offensive and defensive side of the ball. You said the Chargers?
Chargers have been doing a good job drafting as well.
All right.
That would probably be my example.
Okay, you ready?
Let's do it.
I just went over the Lions' last 2 years of draft picks. Let's go over the last, let's say, 3 picks or 3 years.
Mm-hmm.
Is that fair? Is that a good sample size? All right. I don't know why it's taking forever to show up. Here it is. All right. This past season, Zion Johnson, guard out of Boston College. JT Woods, early for them. Really, this year's class, I'm going to kind of ignore because we're not in the day-to-day like we are with the Detroit Lions on the Chargers. But let's go to the last 2 years, 2021 and 2020. In 2021, they drafted Rashawn Slater. Pretty damn good if you ask me.
Yeah, excellent.
Asante Samuel, pretty damn good corner if you ask me in the 2nd round. Josh Palmer's been a capable wide receiver. Trey McKitty, capable tight end, has seen action. Not the most explosive player, but he's on the field for you.
That's all that matters.
Nick Neiman has seen all 19 games that he's been part of for the Los Angeles Chargers. You go back the year prior, it's really just the 1st round pick. That's all you needed to hit on, and they hit on him, Justin Herbert.
Right.
But even then, you want to go back 2019. They followed up with Jerry Tillery, Drew Tranquill, their starting linebacker. That is production. Those are good players.
Mm-hmm.
Even the year prior, Derwin James, Justin Jackson, running back in the 7th round, Justin Jones, defensive tackle.
Yeah, Tom Telesco's he's a really good general manager.
But if I project 4 years out of Brad Holmes,
he's a great general manager.
Don't you think this is the trend you're going to see?
Absolutely. No, I'm with you. I'm not arguing your point.
So you stack draft classes. It is inevitable. It would take abysmal coaching decisions, coaching hires, individual mistakes to set back that football team. Yeah. We saw the Chargers miss the playoffs last year. Why? Questionable decisions from their coach, Brandon Staley. Even if I like him, questionable decisions.
And that was Telesco's hire, too. He brought in Brandon.
Right, and I look at the Lions now. They have stacked back-to-back draft classes where I can pick out 6 names. To be honest, without being biased, 7 that will start on this football team for the next 3 to 5 years. Aiden Hutchinson, Jameson Williams, Josh Pascal, Malcolm Rodriguez, Amon-Ra St. Brown, Ali McNeil, Penei Sewell. And I'm not even including possibly James Mitchell getting action over the next few years, recovering from his injury. Chase Lucas, who we've seen really fight for his rotation spots with his team. Derek Barnes is still a rotating linebacker on this football team. Levi O, injury concerns, can't really help much there. Iffy, the same way. 2 draft classes. And by the way, in 2023, he has 2 more first-round picks. We can talk about Dan Campbell, Jared Goff, all we want. The guy's going to stack a 3rd draft class, and you're going to walk away and say, God, how'd he do it again? Jeff, we did the show last year before the draft. What was the conversation? And I think you brought up this exact point for the Chargers. It's like, show me, like, stack like the Chargers have been stacking for years.
Yeah.
The Lions are doing it.
They're doing it.
It's not they might do it, they could do it, everything's going to change. Oh my
Before Brad, it was...
Before Brad, it was nothing.
Skeptical.
With Brad Holmes in his 2 draft classes has drafted more starters that are actually putting out like legitimate production on the field than I would say any GM in that short amount of time. Let's go back to what's his face? God, I'm forgetting his name. Bob Quinn's first draft. What was it, 2016?
Yeah, and he found some guys like amon-ra late.
Yeah, that was later on in his tenure.
Kenny Galladay.
But let's go through his first 2 draft classes.
Okay, let's do it.
Taylor Decker in the first round. I would say, well done. Well
pick.
done. Hit his first round pick. Ashawn Robinson. Didn't work out in Detroit.
Yeah, it didn't work out in Detroit.
Graham Gaslow. No. Miles Killebrew.
He didn't really work out.
Nobody outside of Taylor Decker worked out for the Lions in the 2016 class. 2017, Jared Davis. Ass Tabor. Nope. Kenny Galladay. Nope. Jamal Agnew. What? Jalen Reeves-Maben. Your first 2 draft classes to set the tone for your franchises. Your franchise. That's what you got.
Yeah.
That's the difference. He's going to come out and stack a draft class on another one and another one. And somewhere between this draft class upcoming and the next 2 or 3, you will likely see him make the decision on a quarterback. And if they are able somehow, some way to land their version of a Justin Herbert, a Josh Allen, a Patrick Mahomes, you are talking a decade of dominance for this football team. Because the talent's going to be there. I don't see anybody questioning the talent Brad Holmes is going to put together. I don't. This guy has stacked already 2 draft classes that have me immensely confident in him. And yes, can I change coaching? Yeah, I can. Can I change the quarterback? Yeah, I can. As a GM, I have that power. I have that ability. And who better to make those decisions than the guy who so far in 2 draft classes has brought you 7 starters, and if a few of them get healthy, it might be 9 or 10. And no, not just because how awful this football team was, but because these guys are much better than what you have on the field. They are actually better. They're good. They're quality players. You expect Kirby Joseph to give you good snaps. You expect, hell, even Derek Barnes in rotation to give you some good snaps. They're on the field. The guys he's drafting are on the field, and they're making plays. The fact that 4 out of the, 15, 16 picks he's had are already like
cornerstones.
Oh my God, corner franchise pieces.
Right.
Amon-Ra, Penei Sewell, Aiden Hutchinson. And if you want to throw Malcolm in there, I think it's still too early. But the reality is you have a starting linebacker. And you didn't have another one outside of Anzalone going into the year. He got you one in the 6th round. That's at least something.
And there could be more. You just have to see more guys play. Kirby Joseph, you don't know about. Josh Pascal, you don't really know about. Jameson, you don't know about yet.
And what has Brad Holmes' tendency always been? I'm doubling down on what I need.
Yep.
Need interior help. Levi
did it back
McNeil,
to back
right away. This year, I need edge rushers. If I don't get a pass rush, Jeff Okudah will never develop. Amani Owarie will never develop. My secondary will look like garbage. I need a pass rush. Aiden Hutchinson, Josh Pascal, first 2 rounds. Bang. You know why I need to take the top off of a defense? I like that Jameson Williams kid. Bring him into Detroit. Pair him with Amon-Ra St. Brown. DeAndre Swift in the backfield. Like the talent you are acquiring in Detroit. Please hear me. The talent you are acquiring in Detroit. 12, 16, 18 months from now, we may be talking about one of the most talented Detroit Lions rosters this franchise has ever fielded. and it will be young. It'll be up and coming. Insane to me.